on yesterday, we explored how to harness the power of data, create impactful products, and build scalable systems. So if you missed any section, don't worry, you can still catch up our YouTube page, Terra Learning. And of course, if you haven't signed up for our amazing tech courses yet, visit terrahq.co to join a community of learners transforming their futures. The link will be posted on the chat box, so you can check it out after the section. Today, we have an incredible lineup of speakers who will discuss design, employability, portfolio building, and content creation. So if any of your friends or colleagues are not on this call, do well to invite them to join this call so they don't miss out. And also grab your notebooks and let's make the most of the day. So to kick things off, we have Ayodele Osindele, a creative genius in the design world. Ayodele has worked on numerous impactful projects and will be sharing insights on how to create designs that captivate and communicate effectively. Please join me in welcoming Ayodele. Thank you very
Hi,
much.
everyone. Thank you very much for the introduction. It's a pleasure to be on the call with bright minds and great people alike. And I'm also I appreciate Terra Learning for the platform and the opportunity to speak with these wonderful people that I have here. Shout out to everyone on the call and firstly, I just want to get some reactions, right? Anyone into design, or if, whether you're a product designer, a graphic designer, or some sort of design in general. Um, okay, I can see some hands up. Um, I assume that's positive. I mean, do we also have people that are just quite very interested in maybe switching careers into being a designer, or just joining this session because they need to understand basic concept of um, technology in general, digital technology in general? And I'm sure a few things that we'll probably discuss on this call um, would be relevant for you. Especially the fact that this is very, I'm very keen on being either self-taught or ensuring that you progress your career in whatever capacity you are in to the next level. Yeah. So just one more, please. Uh, I need to share my screen. Just one moment. All right. I guess you can all see my screen now. I wouldn't be able to see the chat.
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right, cool. Thank you very much. All right. So just as I was saying, it's such a great pleasure to be on the call to discuss this very important topic. In my career, I've had the experience of either mentoring, speaking with um, young or entry level designers, and I've also had the I've worked in various capacities, hiring several designers, from product designers to graphic designers to even animators and so on and so forth, right? I've worked in organizations where I basically interview all of those designers, and I realized that I've realized something that is a pattern, right? And even personally, in my own journey, right? So I mean, I don't know if I can get any of responses. Maybe some thumbs up in the chat. If you ever believe that you need a design degree to thrive in UI UX design, and in this context, UI UX design is being used, right? But it's this topic basically transcends to every other career path you might choose, especially in the digital technology world. But we're basically focusing on UI UX design and graphic design even to for some people that are looking to either transition from being a graphic designer to UI UX designer, or they are already a UI UX designer and they're just looking to they're basically just in certain stages of their career. When I started designing many years back, I didn't have a degree, right? And that is why I think that this topic is going to be very I mean, it's just going to be as easy to tell my story and maybe share how you can grow the ranks without a degree or with a degree, right? And this conversation also is not to nullify you having a degree, right? It's just basically letting you know that I mean, personally, when I started designing, I didn't have a degree, right? I didn't have any lecturer teach me how to use Photoshop, right? In fact, I didn't take any professional courses, right? And then also it was the times of it wasn't right now when internet is better in terms of accessibility. I mean, internet service was not as accessible as it is right now. I didn't even have a very strong computer then. So what could be your excuse? Do you understand? I could have many different excuses, but I just had a dream. I had one very small flash drive, which had very limited memory, and and it it has taken me further and further beyond what I probably thought I would be doing back then. Today, I've worked on projects that has impacted millions of people, and it's just a pleasure that looking back, I can be glad to say that I started where I started from. Right. I mean, back then, I probably would just be thinking of um, starting off and not knowing where I would probably end end in, right. But my goal was that I just wanted to solve problems and in the long run just help and and just help people in the long run and definitely earn a living from it. Um, and like I told you earlier on, definitely don't need a degree um, or whatsoever. There are three things that everyone that wants to get into design uh, needs to will definitely go through, and which I did go through. And when I started off, I mean, I had that idea. I told you earlier on, you have just an idea, and you are hoping that that idea will take you further. And at the beginning, it can just be very exciting. This is even from experiences with mentees or people that I have spoken to in the past, right, or currently speaking to. I mean, at the beginning, you have lots of high hopes, and I'm sure a lot of us who have probably gone through some of these journeys in their career to becoming a either product designer or graphic designer, or even in their current career as a product designer or graphic designer, right? I mean, you start at the beginning. When I started off, I literally would would so I started off interning, right? I went to because I was so inquisitive about how what I needed to do to design, right? I went to someone's office. I mean, then it wasn't very big. It was just a very one man doing some design work at his corner office, right? I went there, told him what I was interested in, and I mean, he said, okay, you just need to learn how to design, and then we're basically designing with not with Figma, not with any other design tools that you might think of, right? So started even teaching me how to use CorelDRAW, and then it was really interesting because I was very inquisitive, and it became interesting that I could know how to do a few things using my computer. And then I had this very small computer. My friends used to make jest of me as using what they call it, SIM registration computer. Then I mean I was so excited. I mean the computer couldn't even do any, couldn't install CorelDRAW correctly. I couldn't do a lot of it because the screen was as small as maybe double of my current phone, right? So
Okay, I think our speaker is having network issues. Let's give him a few seconds to join back. All right. While we wait for our speaker to join the call back, I'll just like to tell us that we have beginners courses for product design in on our website, so you can register for a course after the section if you're interested in learning product design. Okay, our speaker is back. Welcome,
I
ID.
sorry about that. I mean I totally didn't even know I was cut off by the internet. Sorry about that. I would probably just turn off my video to um, to save bandwidth. Right, cool. So I was talking about the next phase in your journey, which a lot of people are in. The phase where you are limited to resources. Like I was, I didn't have a very good computer. I only had a very small flash drive where I saved um, hundreds or even more than hundreds of videos that I've gotten from different sources. Um, I mean, those I didn't have anyone to to guide me through the entire journey of becoming who I wanted to become, right? So it was a journey of self-learning, watching lots of videos, making sure that I persevered through those challenging times, right? I mean, and this is the phase where a lot of people will be most times in their career, and what would sustain you at this phase is why you started what you started in the beginning, right? And I mean, for me, I constantly was doing it, even if I wasn't earning from it. And one thing I realized with a lot of people right now, and what people face right now is because the economy is really very challenging for most people. They want to get something to work with and solve their get to solve their basic needs, right? And this phase of where they are not getting gratified and they are not getting rewarded can be very challenging. But I trust, I can confidently say that once you get over this phase, things becomes easy. But not to say that this phase definitely would end, right? I mean, at this phase, you probably don't even have a job yet, right? And you just need to picture how difficult it can be, and you are constantly training yourself, watching tutorials on YouTube on how to use several softwares. So I transitioned from using um, from learning CorelDRAW to learning uh, Photoshop to learning um, several other softwares, and today I've probably gone past the phase of learning softwares to now learning um, the concept of even design itself, and gone past that phase also to learn how human experience could help you navigate the journey of becoming a better designer, the case may be. So, I mean, constantly working on projects, collaborating with people. And at some point, I realized that I needed to take a few courses. Then I started taking courses and went to then I went ahead when I realized how um, fairly good I was. I started to apply with some of those hundreds of projects that I have done for people for either for a very cheap amount of or even free. Most of the times free. Then I collated lots of those work, sent it to an agency, a multinational agency, and at that time I printed some even as physical copy, sent it over to them, and I started interning. And I think you do not know the value of mentorship until you've got it right. Mentorship, internship, and even just making sure that you you push beyond limits to get to where you want to get to. Because truth be told, um, whatever you are being taught in college or in the university definitely would not be sufficient to sustain you in the world we live in today. But now getting to the breakthrough moment. So these are basic three stages that you probably navigate in your career journey. And the breakthrough moment is when your CVs are being read by recruiters and you're probably being employed, or you're working on a project that is rewarding and you're able to solve your basic um, needs, right? And this point is where you probably would feel the reward of being of doing what you love to do, right? And I must tell you that this is actually my own journey into becoming uh, who I am. I mean, today I work in uh, in an investment technology company where we build softwares to in, solve problems in the private equity field, right? I've gone through several industries and experienced a lot and lots of moments in those industries, right? I mean, in the beginning, you need to the beginning will take you through the grind, and the grind is usually the longest part, is where you are low on energy. But this is the part where you need to continue to uh, to rely on why you started in the beginning, and knowing fully well that once you can get past once you can get past this phase, things becomes fairly easy in the journey. Now, this why I've highlighted the word mandatory is because it is not it is a- it is it is an important tool. A degree is an important tool to help you become to help you that socialize, become knowledgeable, get to meet people. However, it is not a mandatory skill you need to have, or it's not a mandatory document you need to have to to be successful. um, I mean, I was in yesterday's session where one of the presenters was speaking about lots of other uh, people in the industry. Lots of founders, yeah, the Facebook founder to Twitter founder to a lot of other founders. Most of them probably have not gotten a degree before they became before they founded the idea they had, right? Or even for developers, right? To be honest, I must tell you right now that I've not submitted. I've completed my degree, but I've not submitted my certificate in any organization I've worked in, whether in Nigeria or outside Nigeria, right? International companies, multinational companies. So nobody really cares about the certificate. Nobody cares. I've hired people, and I never worry about what they studied in school, because you can really go study anything you want to study. But what can you do is what is as important as possible, right? There are statistics, and why is this so? It's because companies prioritize skills, portfolio, and your ability to solve problems over your academic qualification. There are statistics that says 51% managers consider skills more important than degrees, and same as 83% companies are open to hiring candidates without a college degree, right? The only few other organizations that will probably want to hire you with a degree are very limited. Maybe those traditional organizations, maybe like a bank, for instance, that they need to go through audit process, and they need those they need you to have a university certificate or a college degree, as case may be. However, you can always skill through this if you are top at your game and you are excellent in your craft. You can skill through any of these. A recruiter wouldn't resist a very fantastic portfolio over a university certificate, right? Or even the courses you have taken. Those things, like I said, not it's not that they are not essential or they are not necessary. They are not just mandatory. Nobody gives a little interest to whether you have a degree or not. So your degree versus online courses. So whether you have a degree or not, right? You still need to take online courses. You need to be in design communities. You need to get certifications. You need to uh, get certifications, right? And some of these certifications gives you practical skills, and these practical skills are what your employer is interested in. Your employer is not interested in your degree. They're interested in, all of these three cardinal points would basically result into a very fantastic portfolio. Because you've taken online courses, you understand the basic concept of your user experience, you understand what usability testing is, you understand what A/B testing is. Because you have taken some of these online courses, it gives you confidence to attend interviews, and it gives you confidence to get into the industry, right? And when you join a community, it allows you network, whether vertically or horizontally, all right, which I'll probably be speaking about later on. And your certifications also would definitely maybe give you an edge, right? But one thing that, if you have all of this and you don't have a fantastic portfolio, or you don't have a very good CV, then all of these um, items I've listed out are just a waste of time, because they are not relevant. I have, in fact, I get really whenever I trying to recruit people into my teams, and I see that they have loads and lots of certifications. I mean, it, I become very critical of them because I want to see how they've um, they've applied some of these certifications into their portfolio, right? I mean, for some people, they take they join online or design communities or they take certification or courses just to become just like everybody, right? But um, you cannot you cannot be like everybody. You just need to stand out, right? And standing out is what everyone needs to do. I'll take you also back. I'll take you back memory lane for myself. Um, One thing that stood me out was always my portfolio, right? My portfolio was always very unique, and I can tell you that when I sent out physical copies of my portfolio, then I mean, right now I cannot do it anymore. Um, when I sent out physical copies of my portfolio, then it was very interesting because it was then I realized that people appreciated our document over e-document or physical document over e-document. I put it in a book, made it very, very glossy, very lovely. I made it specially, right? So I just wanted to stand out because I was breaking into the industry for the first time. I had no job experience. I wanted someone to just appreciate what I have done, and it felt like it could be hung on a wall, and it looked very beautiful, right? And every other time, I always ensure that um, um, I improved my portfolio, right? There was, I mean, I had a portfolio at some point where my portfolio was literally a storytelling my journey from when I was young and what made me do what I'm currently doing. I mean, it was some sort of illustration book. This particular one I was talking about was a digital book, which I used as my portfolio then, and I would usually send it out to people, and I had some illustrations drawn in it. Some of the works I've done, I put them in a very unique way, and every other time I ensure that it's when a recruiter sees my portfolio, they get to see it stand out. And how can you physically stand out with your portfolio, right? And like I said earlier on, the emphasis needs to be on unique, right? Your portfolio needs to be unique, right? Because we live in a very saturated space where design, I mean, getting into the industry, general digital technology industry, is very, very difficult, even for people that are donkey years of experience. A lot of people have experience and they do not stand out of the crowd, right? So how do you stand out? And I mean, I was speaking earlier about people taking certifications or joining communities, design communities, just to be like the people that they've joined, or they've or just to follow guided um, guided templates, right? A lot of times when I review people's CV or I review people's portfolio, basically, and they show me case studies that are templatized. I mean, I easily figure it out. Or they show me project that they've done and they used placeholder images that everyone will find anywhere. For instance, you are showing me an application that you've designed, and I'm seeing the picture of this guy that is always wearing orange shirts or yellow shirts on 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 every stock image, right? So I mean, some of these things really just would show that you are not someone that is detailed, or you're not basically you don't pay attention to some of these details. So you need to ensure that every part of your portfolio is unique, and don't follow the crowd by using templates, right? Ensure that your portfolio is telling your own unique story, how you went through the project. Be sincere about it, right? And that doesn't mean that you should throw away the basic principles of your UX design, some of the things that you've learned. And that's why I said that it's important that you take some of those certifications, or you, because those certifications and gives you, or those online courses just gives you an understanding of how things should be done, right? But it's not left to you to craft it in your own way, so as such that you don't just follow research process and just follow it just hook, line, and sinker. And it feels like every project you have the same template that you have replicated for each of the case studies, right? So it's important that you craft every portfolio or every case study in a unique way so that it's user centric and it tells a story, the story of how, because I want to see you express yourself in your portfolio. Um, just next thing that is very important is to leverage platforms. I mean, even platforms like this, where you have fellow designers, right? Um, to leverage it to connect. Platforms like LinkedIn, events, and conferences are very good to help you um, navigate the entire journey of whether getting a job, especially that phase where you are grinding, right? Networking is very important. A lot of people feel like networking should be vertically, meaning that you probably need to network. You need to connect with people that are better than you in the industry, which is fairly very good. But oftentimes it is more easier to network horizontally, meaning that you network people on the same level as you are. You network with people that you are probably in the same boot camp, because a lot of times some of these persons are also facing the same challenges as you are, and they can either encourage you, their story can either encourage you, their story can, because they are facing the same challenges, they are also looking for solutions just as you are looking for solutions. They can basically just connect you with lots of these people that you probably, so take for instance, we have a group of five designers in a group, and we are friends, right? We probably met on this platform. One of them sees an opportunity somewhere, uh, for a job to be done, and it connected to everyone. Everyone, let's apply to this job, right? I mean, you can get the job, the other person might not get the job. It's actually very beneficial because you are both all looking for the same thing or similar thing, because it's an LD network, an LD group. You have every opportunity to hold each other accountable. You do design challenges, and that way you can even build projects that can help your portfolio. For instance, I used to have a mentee, I mean, which I currently still have. I mean, he uh, he kickstarted his career by working on projects with me, and doesn't mean, I mean, when you see his portfolio, you see very big names or very well done projects. It doesn't mean that he did them all by himself. He has collaborated in doing them, right? So because he has networked with someone vertically, whether vertically or horizontally, right now he's networking horizontally, right? Is able to partake in a share of some of the projects that every other person is working on, right? Since next thing that also is also very important to get through that grind stage is upskilling. I mean, it's never too late to learn, and it's never too early to learn. You just always continue to learn, learn new tools, learn new ways of doing things, so that you do not get stuck in your current moment. You also need to seek mentorship. Mentorship is very important, whether one-on-one mentorship or just going to platforms that helps with mentorship. It is very, very valuable. Now, I mean, when you have gone through all of this phase, you've gotten your job, and it could not be an easy path, right? Some people get job loss and they fall back into the process of grinding again. And to be honest, it becomes a circle. all you just need to continue to do is to go through all of the steps that we've discovered, that we've discussed earlier on. Continue to go through those processes, continue to network with people, continue to just do the right things, make sure your portfolio stands out. Then you discover that you go from the grind back to your breakthrough moment, and you can stay there for a while again, back to the grind. I mean, while you are even in a job, you can be experiencing challenges where you have creative block or a lot of challenges. You need to ensure that you get through those processes by celebrating your small wins. You've done something, you need to celebrate it. You are adaptable, and you join communities. So one thing that is very important is that no matter um, your story, no matter the degree you have, your degree will probably open doors for you, but your passion, your persistence, and your portfolio will take you through them. Just know that your journey is unique. You do not need to really worry yourself about whether you have a degree or not. Your journey is unique. The other person might get it earlier, quicker than you, but make sure that you are doing the right thing. You just need to take one step, and whether it's creating uh, a, a dribble account or starting a, a design challenge, and you realize that you just need yourself um, to continue that journey and to um, get into what you desire, the future you desire. One thing that I just want to end this with is design isn't about the tools you use or the certificate you hold. The quote is very impactful to me. It is about the problems you solve and the impact you create. The latter part of this quote is just very important because you do not get to wherever you want to get to by knowing how to use Photoshop or Figma or any other tool. You get to where you want to get to by the kind of person you are, and that's why I said earlier on that your journey is unique. The kind of person you are, the impact you try to create by in your community horizontally, right? You by solving problems for people, your willingness to solve problems will take you further, even more than the fact that you are very good at Figma or you're very good at user experience, right? And this just brings me to some books that might be helpful for us to read that can help us in at any point in in our design career. So I have read a lot of these books, and even some that I have not highlighted yet. But these books are things that I feel that, especially if you want to say you want to excel in your field, I believe that reading books is something that is very important. While you are taking some of those courses, some of these things would help you discover yourself better, will help you gain confidence in your profession. And you can take note of some of these titles, look them up, get the ebooks to read if you think you'll be interested in them. Thank you everyone for the time you have given me, and I think this is the time where I would be willing to take questions and answer get your responses to some of the things I've spoken about. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Hayediji. That was really, really brilliant. I really love the emphasis on communities and building a unique portfolio. Thank you very much for that. Okay, we'd like to take questions now. Edith, your hand is raised. Would you like to speak? We can also drop our questions in the chat box if we do not want to unmute our mic. All right, Faith.
Okay. Thank you, ma. Good morning, sir.
Hi, Faith. Good morning.
Yeah. Okay. You said something earlier. You said when you were talking about your story, you said you notice that people appreciate hard copy documents over e-documents. Now, I want to ask, does it still apply now, like today?
Honestly, I don't think so because uh, I have not come across anyone sending me their portfolio as a physical document today. What people would want you to do right now, I mean, because your physical document is limited, it will not take you. I mean, you can print your portfolio and keep it as a personal effect, but it will not take you as far as having an online portfolio, for instance, using say a Wix.com or a Framer or some even WordPress, creating something very basic for yourself or collaborating with a developer friend to create a website that has a domain. You can do it as little as very almost free for some platforms, but some people even use Google Drives, right? I mean, I'm not really a fan of it, but that's also very good. You just need to be able to send a link to to recruiters to hire you rather than being confined with physical documents. For instance, you want to get a job in the US or get a job, an international job remotely, they do not want you to send them a document. And how long does it take to get to them, right? So it's always important that, I mean, then back then, it was just my way of breaking. And that's why I said your journey is unique. You just need to own it. You just need to craft your story in a way that makes a lot of sense. You can do that with 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 websites right now. I mean, back then it wasn't very common to create a quick online portfolio, and it was difficult for me. And that's why I felt like one way to stand out was to send um, physical document rather than PDF, right? But it is always very important that you have an online portfolio, which I do, and I have done. I mean, my online portfolio has gone through several variations. I have had like about say 5 to 6 websites revised over the years, right? So your your portfolio needs to be constantly reviewed, needs to be constantly looked after. It is your passport to a job. It is your passport to anything you want to get to, right? I mean, put your link everywhere. Let people just look at it for fun, right? Just show people. And it's easier for people to even find you when they Google your name or when they Google, you can make your SEO very good to say, oh, a designer in Nigeria, or designer in your area, in your community. I mean, people can find you that way. And I think that's the best way to connect with recruiters to, today. Physical portfolio, I would not advise because no one does it anymore.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you very much, Ayedeji. Thank you so much. For edits, your answer to the question you asked is you can start by learning product design on Terra websites. Right, the link has been posted on the chat box, so you can click on the link to register. Thank you so much, Ayedeji. I thoroughly enjoyed this section.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much. Up next, we hear from Ini